Inspirational Creatives, episode 232. Welcome to Inspirational Creatives. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. Join me every Friday as I chat with successful artists, producers, and creative entrepreneurs who share powerful stories and strategies. They can help you to create the life that you want. Listen each week as these inspirational creatives show you how to take your creativity to the next level. You'll learn how to create a sustainable business that inspires others and gives you the financial freedom and lifestyle that you want. Thanks for listening. Make sure you sign up at inspirationalcreatives.com to get free exclusive bonus material. And now, on with the show. Rob here, and welcome to the first short action episode on the Inspirational Creatives podcast for 2018. If you're new to Inspirational Creatives, these short action episodes, which appear every Wednesday, are designed to help you take some life-changing action towards living the life that you want. The idea is that these seemingly small ideas can have a big impact on your life, and I hope for you that today's wisdom is no exception. In episode 231, I spoke with artist, entrepreneur and coach Natalia Komis about what it takes to find your truth and personal power through your creative practice. One of the biggest challenges I had creating today's short action episode for you was that I got so many insights, ideas and tips from that conversation, I didn't know which one to pick. It's a good problem to have. So the one I'd like to share with you today, or in fact the two I'd like to share with you today, are probably responsible for some of the biggest creative shifts and challenges that I've had personally, and that's capturing inspiration the moment it arrives. In fact, Natalia shared with me a number of ideas around this throughout our chat, but I'd like to share with you two today specifically, which I feel for me are the most powerful. Before I share with you those two insights, to give you context as a reminder, or if you haven't already had a chance to listen to our chat yet, I'd like to share with you this brief clip where in episode 231, I asked Natalia about her creative process, and this is what she had to say. So I'd love to ask you more about your own creative process. It's something I'm dying to ask you about. You're clearly very creative. One glance at your website, it's evident that, you studied fine art and you love to paint. I know that. So tell me about your creative process and how do you get into your creative work? Do you have any specific rituals or approaches that you take, or is that something that evolves over time or is dependent on what it is that you're creating?
Yeah, I think there's a mixture of things, really. I think for me, I try and practice daily meditation. I write in my journal. I don't do it every morning. I'd like to think I have morning pages, but actually it's a journal that I just write in when I think of something. I do a lot of affirmations and go for a lot of walks. It's the process. It's what we've been talking about. It's when things come up for me and I allow the space and time to actually walk through them. And when I don't, then I'm not creative. So unless I actually give myself some space and some time and take myself away from things, then it doesn't flourish.
One of the things that fascinated me there is that Natalia's creative work only flourishes when she gives herself the time and the space that her creativity deserves. She prioritizes it. Notice that it flourishes, not just gets done, but flourishes, because Natalia is making time for her creativity and not just fitting it around her everyday life. In the words of Stephen Pressfield, who wrote The War of Art, she's a pro.
And that was really the principle of Am Adventures, to bring people away from their normal routines and to dump them into places, and we go on really long walks and I use lots of different tools to get them feeling creative again. And that's basically what I do for myself. I go to Devon, I go to the sea. So for me, the sea is the biggest tool to ignite something inside of me. I don't know what it is, but it's just always been there. It's always the thing that makes me kind of like feel calm and just reconnect with something that's deeper inside of me, and nature as well. But if I could be, an hour in nature and walking through some, woods, or I could be 5 minutes by the sea and it would give me the same response.
So for Natalia, both the sea and nature stimulate and inspire her creativity. However, it's these next 2 points that I'd like to share with you, which inspired me when it comes to capturing inspiration in the moment.
I actually always have my easel up and ready, so that if suddenly I do feel the need to paint, it's not a really difficult process of getting things out, getting it ready, and I think, oh, well, it's going to take me 3 hours to do it. I'm not going to bother. So everything, I have pens and paper and journals literally all over the house.
So I just wanted to pause there before the next point, because I felt this first point was so important. Natalia always has her easel set up and ready. For me, this was a strong reminder of having our creative workspace and tools ready. When I first started podcasting, one of the biggest challenges I had was getting around to capturing conversations in that moment. A handheld recorder helped me overcome this challenge, but it became more complicated when I started interviewing folks overseas. Each time I recorded an interview, I had to set up the microphone, plug in the interface and the hard disks, check the software was up to date, and then hit record. And now I have everything permanently set up and ready to go. I can't tell you what a difference that this makes. Equally, if you're a songwriter or a composer or a designer, you might struggle with this one too. Getting the guitar ready, or finding the paints or the paper or the pens, finding the cables, firing up the computer, by which point it's often too late. The inspiration is gone. And trust me, it's the one thing that's very hard to retrieve, if you can retrieve it at all, is the inspiration in its rawest form. So what about if we're on the move and capturing inspiration in those moments, when we're making those transitions from place to place, which you can put your money on, inspiration's going to arrive during that time? Well, in episode 231, this is what Natalia had to say.
I never leave the house without a journal, without a notebook. So I'm always ready to write something down when it comes. And then I will just look over them when I feel like I want to. And I'll think, oh, that was a good idea. Or, oh, yeah, I might go and paint this now. And that's sort of how it works, really.
It may not matter in the moment if your ideas are any good or not. You can assess that later. What's important, perhaps, is that you capture your inspiration in the moment. I even know people who keep waterproof whiteboards in their showers to capture inspiration whilst they're taking a shower. I almost always have a voice recorder or some kind of notepad on me at any time for this exact purpose. And in episode 231, Natalia shared that she does too. No matter how weird you might look capturing your ideas whilst you're out and about, what's really important is that you capture your inspiration in the moment. If you're really self-conscious, you could always leave yourself a voicemail. It might look like you're talking to somebody on the phone. So to summarise then, to grab inspiration by the tail, whatever your craft, it can greatly help to be prepared and have your creative workflow and processes ready. When you're out and about, find some way of capturing your inspiration, either with a camera or with a voice recorder or a notepad, so that you can capture inspiration in any moment. Have your workspace ready and your tools ready to go. Good luck taking action today. If you'd like to hear more of what Natalia had to say, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com and click on episodes and look for episode 231 to hear the full chat. To learn more about Natalia and her work, head on over to nataliakomis.com. That's nataliakomis.com, where you can find out more about Remote Mission and all of the other great work that Natalia involves herself in creatively. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thanks to Adelaide Goodeve of the Wild Show podcast for introducing me to Natalia. I highly recommend you check out Natalia's chat with Adelaide on the Wild Show podcast. You can find the link on the episode show notes, so just head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com and look for episode 231 and scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll find the link there. Let me know how these ideas resonated with you today by dropping me an email at rob@inspirationalcreatives.com, and I look forward to chatting to you again soon. Thanks for listening. Nothing beats the stories and advice of an expert to help you raise your creative game. I would love to know what you thought about today's episode, so don't forget to subscribe in iTunes, where you can rate and review the show. If you like this episode, I invite you to share it on Facebook or Twitter with the one person you know who will benefit from the wisdom shared here today. You can find the show notes on inspirationalcreatives.com/podcast. If you have a burning question or a great idea for a guest, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/contact, where you can connect with me there.